Hey folks, welcome back. We're going to get right to it. Let's do a little bit of a night drive here, hands-free with FSD 13.2.2. And we're just going to get ourselves out of here. First, it's got to make sure the coast is clear. All of a sudden, there's a whole lot of people here. All right, let's get this show on the road. I have not done a night drive with this version of the software yet. So I just want to make sure that everything is copacetic, as the term might go. Getting ourselves out of this parking lot. To complicate matters, as you can see here in upstate New York, we have a little bit of snow. It's been the lightest flurrying of snow all day today. It barely has added up to, maybe an inch total all day. But it's just been the very lightest snow that I can remember in a long time. And it's gone on for, it started today or last night around, I think around 2 a.m. or something like that. And it continued until about, I don't know, a couple hours ago. It's now a little after 5 here. And it's, it has to be pretty light if all day it doesn't even really add up to an inch. But it's just kind of been this annoying little flurry all day. Just enough that you got to use the wipers, just enough that the roads are wet / slippery, depending on how much traffic has gone over them. And so we're just going to do a quick little drive here. This is going to be about 7.5 miles from one shopping plaza to another. We're going from Clifton Park over to Mechanicville, New York, for those of you that know this area. Now I see here we're in the left lane. We really do have to get over one lane in a perfect world. And we should do that soon. It really should try to maneuver in behind this person. But I'm going to let it go, see what it does here. It needs to get over one lane to the right as the best way to continue straight at this, not this light, but the next one. This is one of those where you got to plan ahead, because if you can see those red lights way down there in the distance, we want to be one lane to the right by the time we get there. And there's enough traffic here, you kind of have to do this in advance when you get the opportunity, or force yourself an opportunity, because people are pretty unforgiving when it comes to this little set of intersections. Okay, we got to get over. There's our opportunity, and we're taking it. Very good. So I'm interested in hearing from any of you folks on 13.2.2. How have the night drives been for you? How about the snow drives? Today was light enough that the snow really never accumulated to any extent on the roads, especially with the trucks out. I heard the plows going last night. Even though there was hardly anything to plow, they were putting down salt to stay ahead of it, to make sure none of this became kind of a freezing mess on the road. And anything that gets any travel at all, between tire wear and salt and everything else, these are just staying wet, even though the temperature has been below freezing all day. Right now, if the car is accurate, it's about 25 degrees. Here's a plow truck right now. And let's see, are they laying anything down? They most certainly are. So still putting salt down on the roads, and they're really just wet. In the middle there, you can see on the double yellow line, it's actually got a little coating of snow on it, but the car is able to decipher that still. And I can too, with my own eyes. I can see the yellow peeking through the snow. And that's really all the car needs. It just needs to see those peaks of the yellow in between the flakes of snow. So it's going to use that. It's going to use the white line on the right, which right now is clearly visible, ironically. That is not covered in any white snow. And then it will use, to some extent, the cars ahead of us as context clues for the road path, which is nice. And that's exactly what a person would do. They would not 100% trust the car in front of them, but assuming you know the road and you believe that they are on the correct path, you're going to stay right behind them and keep your wheels on their wheel path. And that's exactly what the car is doing. It is doing a little bit of thinking. It's not just road. It has been trained on millions and millions and millions of little video clips to see what real people do at intersections and stoplights and stop signs in all kinds of various scenarios. And then it is allowed to extrapolate beyond that. It is not only learning on rote memory of certain, situations. It is absolutely going that extra step in doing what little thinking it's able to do on its own to infer lines, infer the path to go, what are the safe places to drive and what are not the safe places to drive. It can tell the difference between the shoulder of the road and the grass next to it, which is exactly what you would want it to do. It knows that if it has to, it can drive into the shoulder of the road, but it can't drive into the grass. It's going to avoid that. So, yeah, it's doing well. Now, we have not had here yet in upstate New York a serious snowfall yet this year. This is, January 11th. And we have, at least here in north of Albany, we have yet to get, significant inches of snow that actually sat on the ground for any period of time this year. So I'm not able to test this version yet on a totally snow-covered road and let it really do some work to figure out lane lines and traffic patterns and that kind of thing with snow on the ground. But I am looking forward to that. So maybe there's, after today, these flurries that came last night and today, there's no real snow in our forecast as far as the forecast can see, like the next 10 days or so. So it might be a little while until I'm able to really give it a good snow test. But here at night, you can see, we're not doing anything other than supervising, and it is absolutely driving rock solid. It's driving like a champ. We're just leaving the Clifton Park area, headed towards Mechanicville. Definitely dark now. And it is correctly seeing that this is a part of the road where you could make a pass there. Now this part is, you cannot make a pass here, and so it is getting a little fooled by some of the snow. Now it's got the solid lines back. It's doing well. and I'm looking forward to putting my snow tires on. I am going to be doing that here. I'll do a video of that and show you how I do my tire rotations and my tire swaps. I do have a dedicated set of winter tires. I just got them from Tesla. I picked up their Aero set of wheels for the Model Y with the Pirelli Soto Zero winter tires on them, and I'll do a video when I swap those on and let you see my process of how I do it. And it is doing a good job here of following the lane lines and the tire path of all these other cars. It's keeping its wheels in the tire path. I am just going to keep my foot near the brake or accelerator in case I need to take over here, or if it gets over into a little bit of the slushiness there that I don't want it to get into. I don't know how much, obviously the car's got traction control and all that good stuff, and it's super quick, it's super agile when it comes to that. Being electric motors, they can turn on a dime and really regain that traction when it has to. But what I don't know that it's able to know is whether that is loss of traction is really just due to, can it infer the snow or not? I don't know that it's able to do that. I don't know how much of the AI process is programmed. I mean, how much of the properties of snow it really knows. I'm just not sure of that. And now this is where one lane splits into two. We really could take either lane here. None of these make a turn, but in about another half or 3/4 of a mile, both of these lanes will recombine into one lane. And so it really doesn't matter which lane it picks now. And we're only about 1.5 miles from our destination. This is rock solid. This is what I would hope for and expect. Even on a night drive, a hands-free, full self-driving, 13.2.2, nice drive. I'm surprised it's not hitting the wipers right now, although truth be told, it would probably just make everything smeary right now. I might add a little washer fluid here depending on how much spray and mist comes up on the car, especially from this truck ahead of us that we're following. Now here's where it goes to 30 miles an hour, but it hasn't slowed down. Cops definitely sit through here. And so I'm going to slow this down. I'm going to do a video on, I've got 3 or 4 gripes of FSD, and they all have to do with speed. Not all of it means that it goes too fast. Some of those, at least one of those gripes is sometimes it goes too slow. And I've used these versions long enough now, especially this 13.2.2, that I know there are a few items. Now here's where it recombines. I'm going to take over here because it was not getting in. And that, of course, that truck next to us was not also playing very nice. Let's go ahead and re-engage. I didn't want that truck who was not allowing us in to ruin our day. So unfortunately, I had to go ahead and make sure that everything was safe. That is one place where people just can be very unforgiving when it goes back to one lane there. Plus, you really do have to think ahead. You got to think about a 1/4 mile ahead of that uh, little strip there that goes right under the train bridge. That's where it combines back into one lane. You have to be thinking ahead 3 blocks before that of where you're going to get in and zipper in with the people next to you. And granted, this car wasn't doing it yet, but the truck next to us, which is now the one ahead of us, he was also not helping us out any. So had to go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way. And now we're coming up to our shopping center. We have the green arrow. Now it's just turning yellow, but we're good. And here's where we can turn in on this lane. Ironically, we're following the truck that was going to cut us off. And good. Even on this snow here, it is going nice and slow, which is good. It's going to come right up to the front of the store. This is perfect. There's a person that we're going to go around. We've got a stop sign. And that's perfect. I'm just going to take it from here. And we're going to go ahead and why not finish it off with a self-park. Why don't we let it do that here? Let's come down this aisle and we'll pick a parking spot. Let's pick this one right here. And now it can go ahead and back up. Let's see how good the backup camera. Okay, it didn't get too much spray on it. It's backing right up. It's going a little slower, a little more tentative than I would care for. Especially, I can understand if it was this tentative if the rest of FSD was real tentative, but it's not. And I'm surprised how slowly it tends to want to back into a parking spot, but there we go. Other than a little bit of, well, let's call that a courtesy disengagement, just to make sure that we zippered in with the guy who was next to us. Other than that, it performed flawlessly. Lane changes were good. Speed was overall good, except, again, I've got those gripes about speed, of how FSD handles speed changes, speed limit changes. And I'll put those in a video, and we'll talk about those. That's it for now. Keep your wheels below you. Keep tripping, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.